keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Let's just put Dory back on the shelf over here. So this coming Friday, Finding Dory finally comes out in theaters, and I don't know about you guys, but I have been like counting down the days for when this movie comes out because I am a huge Pixar fan, but an even bigger Finding Nemo fan, and I've just been waiting for this movie to come out, and I'm just so excited that the day is like finally here pretty much. So for this week's video, to celebrate the release of Finding Dory finally coming out, I thought I would tell you guys some cool things about Finding Nemo that you may not have necessarily thought about. Now, when you think of Finding Nemo, you probably don't think of racism, addiction, stranger danger, or peer pressure, right? Well, maybe you do. But regardless, I thought I would point out a few instances of those that are very prominent in Finding Nemo, but are still kind of hidden that you might not have thought about it that way. So without further ado, let's take a deeper look into Finding Nemo. See what I did there? Deeper, deep, because like the ocean is deep, and okay, let's go into the video. On to Intense Society lesson number 1, racism. Now this one might be a bit obvious since they reference this a few times in the movie, but Marlin, Nemo's dad, is singled out many times in the movie for being a clownfish. Because Marlin is a clownfish, many characters in the movie make the association that because he's a clownfish, he must be funny because like clowns are funny. So they always expect him to be hilarious and tell really funny jokes when it's pretty obvious Marlin isn't funny and his jokes usually fall flat. Now the connection to racism here is that other characters in the movie are making assumptions and judging Marlin just because of how he looks. Clearly it is shown that Marlin is not a comedian because, like I said, his jokes usually fall pretty flat, but at the end of the movie it shows Marlin kind of having fun with it and taking it in stride and working on his comedic timing, and his jokes have a lot more success and he's having a lot more fun with it, so it kind of ends pretty well. Another instance of racism in the film are with the sharks. Many characters in the film assume that Bruce and the other sharks are evil and mean just because of how they look, but it turns out that the sharks are pretty good people apart from a couple of mishaps. Lesson number 2, addiction. Addiction issues are referenced several times in Finding Nemo, and when I found out how many times it was referenced, I was kind of shocked. I think the most prominent reference to addiction is with Bruce the shark. Bruce is recovering from his addiction to fish blood and eating fish, and continues to abstain from fish blood and eating fish with the mantra, "Fish are friends, not food." However, when Dory hits her nose and bleeds a little bit, it is shown that relapses are all too common in the path to recovery when Bruce gets a whiff of Dory's blood and hits a relapse and goes a little crazy for a bit. Other instances of addiction that are referenced in the film are in the fish tank. There is the infamous Bubbles fish and Jacques the shrimp. Both of them are obsessed to Bubbles and cleaning the tank obsessively, respectively. Life lesson number 3, peer pressure. A very classic example of peer pressure that happens in Finding Nemo that you're probably all thinking of as well is the drop-off scene where Nemo's friends convince him to swim out to sea and touch the butt. Another example is when Marlin and Dory arrive at the trench and the school of fish, who are experts at the geography in the area, instruct Dory that her and Marlin have to go through the trench for maximum safety and not over it, and Marlin just kind of dismisses that and convinces Dory, or peer pressures Dory, to go over the trench, and yeah. And what happened in both situations? Bad things. Nemo gets abducted and Dory gets seriously injured. Not good. So the lesson here is, don't fall to peer pressure. There are other examples of peer pressure referenced in the film too, like Nemo in the fish tank when they try to pressure him to jam the pebble into the filter and to make him swim through the ring of fire. But even though these ended pretty harmlessly, Pixar still made sure to warn us of the potential dangers. Lesson number 4, stranger danger. The most prominent example of stranger danger in Finding Nemo is when Marlin and Dory end up inside of the whale. Dory doesn't realize the dangers of going up to a creature that is much bigger than her and eats other fish, but Marlin does and tries to steer Dory away from him. But, with another example of peer pressure actually, Dory ends up convincing Marlin that they do need to go to the whale, and so they do, and even though nothing bad really happens to them and they don't get harmed in any way, they still went through a little bit of trouble. And finally, lesson number 5, disability. This one really doesn't need any explanation because there are several different types of disabilities showcased in Finding Nemo. From the top of my head, there's Nemo's fin, Gil's fin, there's Dory with memory loss, there's Flo in the fish tank with, you know, seeing another version of herself that's not actually there. So they definitely do mesh a lot of physical and mental disabilities in Finding Nemo. But at the end of the day, what Pixar shows in the movie that I love is that no matter what kind of disability you have, be it physical or mental, they show that you are capable of doing anything you set your mind to, and that you can overcome several obstacles. Which I think is just such an awesome lesson to instill, and is probably my favorite Pixar lesson they've ever shown in any movie. So that's about it. There's many more I could dive into, like how Marlin is a single father and endures many real world, difficulties that single parents have to endure, but those are the main ones that surprised me when I learned about them. Finding Nemo is still to this day one of my favorite movies of all time, and I still just cannot wait to get to the theater to see Finding Dory. So let me know in the comments below if you can think of anything that I missed in this movie that has a greater life lesson. I would like to know, because I'm sure I missed a lot. Pixar is usually pretty sneaky with how they weave these things in, so do let me know. Also be sure to like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and if you are new to my channel, haven't been here before, hi! My name is Mark, and I post new videos on this channel every Tuesday, and they are usually pretty relatable, fun videos, so you do not want to miss that. So hit the subscribe button right down below, it's right there. Hit it so you don't miss any of those videos. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. All the links for that are down below and at the end of this video. And that's about it. See you guys next week for another brand new video. Bye! Minutes left. Sweet. Don't panic, don't panic. How do I write a thesis again? I'm definitely going to be the last one in here. Okay, finally done, and with 2 minutes left to spare. Let's just do a quick